For our first story, we have male 31, ruined Christmas for my GF, female 28, and I don't know what to do. How do I go about this? My male 31 girlfriend, female 28, and I have known each other for 3 years, but we've been together for just over a year and we're currently living together. A few months ago, I broke one of our bedside table lamps by accident that she bought off Temu and was really upset about it. She said to buy her another lamp cause it took her a long time to decide on this one that she really liked. She's very particular with the aesthetics of our apartment, and the lamp I broke isn't sold on Temu anymore. Made things really difficult to find one that she'd be happy with, so I was putting it off for a bit. It's Christmas Day now and we just exchanged gifts to each other. She got me a nice buttoned summer shirt and new swimming shorts, both of which I needed. Very thoughtful, very nice, and I was very grateful. I got her 2 new lamps for our bedside table. I did some research and covertly asked if these lamps look good, and she liked them a lot. However, after opening her present, she thought it was a joke and was not happy at all. Doesn't consider it a Christmas present cause I still owed her some lamps from months ago. Now she's locked herself in our room, saying that I've ruined Christmas for her and I don't know how to approach her. I can't go get her another gift cause it's Christmas Day and everything's closed. She doesn't want to talk to me and I don't know what to do. Update. We talked it out. Appreciate the dog pile, Reddit. Thank you to those few helpful comments that helped guide me through this all. I have a lot to work on. Merry Christmas. That's the end of our first post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, "This can't be real. You gave her a replacement to something you broken months ago?" Our second commenter says, "You're replacing something you broke and giving that as a Christmas gift? After committing to replacing it?" IDK the reaction might be over that top on her end, but she has a right to be disappointed. It's like she doesn't get a gift because you broke something. Our third commenter says, "Imagine someone owed you $20 and then they give you $20 for Christmas and said, 'Hey look, it's exactly what you asked for, nice present right?' Major dickhead move on your end." For our second story, we have boyfriend 25 male used the stocking stuffers I 23 female had for his stocking to put in his mom's stocking. How do I go about this? As the title states, my boyfriend used the gifts I got him to put in his mom's stocking. His reply was, "I didn't have time to grab her anything for her stocking, I'm sorry." I just said, "That's okay, I understand. But I feel so offended and upset over this. I worked so hard to give him everything I gave him this year as someone who only works part-time and spending the time I have outside of work to take care of the family. How do I go about talking to him about this? I feel guilty for feeling the way I do. How would you feel if your partner did this?" That's the end of our second post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, he is 25 and couldn't it find the time to get his mom a Christmas gift? It's not like December 25th is a surprise. Plenty of time to put on his big boy pants and get his mom a gift with his money. Don't you feel like you deserve better? Our second commenter says, frankly, this would be a deal breaker for me. It tells me that his mom and his time, money are more important than you. If it's not a deal breaker for you, wrap a box of condoms and throw it in with the rest. It will make things a bit awkward. Our third commenter says, you be honest from the get-go. He is 25, and Xmas is the same day every year. He had a whole year to get stocking stuffers, instead he took your effort and passed it off as his own. Ew. Also, he couldn't bother to get his mom a gift. And stole some you bought to make up for it. This is how he treats what I'd assume are the two most important women in his life. Red flag. For our last story, we have female 24, got admitted to hospital and my boyfriend, male 24, didn't visit, call. Is that not generally rule of thumb? Okay, so sounds dramatic, but here's the story. A few days ago, my boyfriend took me to A&E because I was on the floor in pain, with what I found yesterday to be a rupture in my ovaries, and I got sent home 9h later, being told that if it got worse, to return to A&E. Which the same day it did. However, this time my parents took me there as I was concerned he barely slept from the night before and I got admitted to hospital that night. My parents kept him up to date so he was aware of this. The next day, he texted me about how I slept, but then didn't hear from him at all the whole day. My returning text was me explaining about how horrible a night I had, how serious it got, etc. And then I didn't hear from him, at all. He didn't read my message. I saw on a friend's story of his that he hosted some people over his for a Christmas gathering, and I was only to assume that was the reason I didn't hear from him. It took him till late that day to message me, maybe like 8 p.m., after a really scary day for me. I got upset and told him that it seemed like he didn't care and he was off having a good time without a thought in the world of me. He didn't call me, he didn't visit to check in. He was having a party and he knew I had been admitted to hospital after seeing how much pain I was in. There was no apology, only a message to say we'll talk about it when I'm out of hospital. He visited today, which I only assumed was because I got upset, but told me I was out of line for telling him I got upset about not talking to me yesterday as he had a lot to do. He then continued to guilt me and tell me he took time out of his Christmas Eve to come see me. I told him to leave the hospital there and then. I was so broken-hearted. So, friends, here's my question. Where do I go from here? Was I out of line for getting annoyed? As much as I'm trying to work on getting better, I can't stop thinking about whether I were out of line. He did sit with me in A&E, but things got worse and he didn't bother. I feel like I have the right to be upset with him, but he disagrees. That's the end of our last post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, "You have a right to break up with him. You're young, but you need to understand health is not guaranteed. It's likely most of us will need to be cared for at some point in our lives. You got the opportunity to see how he behaves when things get tough. You will be alone. Make that decision with what you will. There is no second chance emo when your health is in the equation." Our second commenter says, "Your boyfriend's behavior is beyond selfish. You were in the hospital with a ruptured ovary, which is serious AF by the way, and this man chose to throw a Christmas party instead of being there for you? And then had the audacity to guilt trip you about visiting on Christmas Eve. He told me I was out of line for telling him I got upset. Excuse me? You're lying in a hospital bed in pain, and he's playing the victim. The absolute nerve of this man. Your boyfriend is showing you exactly where you rank on his priority list, sis. Somewhere between his party plans and taking out the trash, apparently. You think you're questioning your reaction tbh, but what you're really questioning is how someone who claims to care about you could be so callously indifferent to your suffering. A lot to do doesn't trump your partner being hospitalized. Even a text would have taken 30 seconds. When someone shows you their true colors, believe them the first time. You deserve someone who drops everything when you're in crisis, not someone who drops you for a party. Our third commenter says, "Maybe I can put this into perspective for you. My lung collapsed Tuesday evening and my boyfriend took me to the hospital, very near our apartment, and stayed with me all night, even slept in the super uncomfortable chair that they gave him. The next day, I was transferred to a hospital an hour away where I spent another 5 nights, got discharged yesterday. There wasn't a single night that he didn't spend in the hospital with me that entire time. Even on the days that he had to drive 50 miles to and from the hospital for work and to pick stuff up for me. And this was despite the fact that medical staff came and went all night and very early in the mornings, and neither of us slept through the night since I was admitted. No matter how tired and scared I was, he was always there trying to make me feel better and laugh, even though I begged him not to because laughing is very painful when you have a tube in your chest. You deserve someone who won't leave your side, especially when you're scared and in pain." That's all for today. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.